Okay, now this is recording. All right, so the last class, you've removed the green screen and all that stuff, so we're gonna move on from that. The first thing you're gonna have to do here is I'm gonna zoom in. Okay, you need to create a new sequence within your project already. So you can have a project with multiple sequences in it. So you're gonna go to this sequence right here, or you can change the look by clicking this icon, and you have to look for this small icon right here that looks like a bunch of stuff that's stacked on each other, like a bunch of Legos or whatever stacked on each other. That is the icon for, see that right there? It looks like Legos stacked up on top of each other. That is the icon for a sequence. Okay? You're going to right click, and then you are going to duplicate this sequence. And then when you duplicate the sequence, I'm going to double click in here to see that it says copy. I'm going to name this one, and this is what you guys are going to do. You're going to name this scale, position, rotation, and key framing. Okay? Push enter or click out of it, and then there it is, your new sequence. Okay? Can you guys handle that? All right, go get it done. All right, now that you've created your second sequence, what you're going to do now is you are going to double click on it, and then you will see the sequence pop up over here on the left side as a new timeline. So you double click on scale, position, rotation. You see how this one pops up on the left right here? On the right. Okay. Now you can always go back between the two. And the reason why you do that is because, let's say you have a project and you're like, I feel like I'm done. This is the final project, I'm good. But you know what? I might want to try something just a little different, and I want to modify it just a little bit. But you don't want to modify the original, you want to modify the copy version or the new version. Does that make sense? Okay. So what I'm doing here is I'm using it in a way where I'm going to be leaving this because I exported this, and this is like one phase. This is phase 2, which is to teach you scale, position, rotation. Instead of having to go back to this and then Command Z to get back to the original, to teach the next class, right? I can just use this one and teach you from wherever we ended to where we're about to finish today. Okay? All right. So what I want you to do today is this. You will be able to edit and submit a 5 to 10 second video with a lower third, entering, exiting, and then the subject is not in the middle. Okay? Like, look at me, I'm the subject. I'm right in the middle of the video. I want to move myself somewhere else. Okay? We'll get there. So the first thing we're going to do here is learn the basics of scale, position, and rotation. I'm going to click on my video layer of myself, and then I am going to go to the Effects Control panel in Editing or in Effects tab, and then I am going to move myself. Remember in elementary school you learn move left, move right, and then move up, move down. Remember that? Okay? Same thing here. This is your X, Y, right there, position. Okay? If I click and drag this, I move left. If I drag, I move right. I'm done with one of my portions already. Hooray. I got some points. Does that make sense? Yeah. Okay. If I want to move myself up and down, I use the Y coordinates. Move myself down, move myself up, right? Okay. And then if I want to make myself bigger, this is where you learn 2x, 3x, 4x, 1.5x, 1.2x. And then you divide both sides by remember that? That's the algebra stuff. Well, I'm scaling myself up by multiplying. This is 2x. I'm scaling myself down by multiplying by a small fraction number or a small decimal number, and I make myself smaller. That's the reason why you learn math. Okay? So you can move yourself wherever you want, and you can shrink or enlarge yourself, or your name and the shape. You can do it with any of them. And then there's also rotation. I can spin myself around this way when it's negative rotation or positive rotation, right? Okay? Spin myself like this. I move myself like right there. And I move myself like right here. Bam. I am not in the middle. I got some points already. I can do the same thing with the next layer, which is my graphics. I can move it left and right. I can move it up and down. I'm going to Command Z because I actually want it. Does that make sense? Yeah. And the text layer, same thing. You can move the text left and right. You can move up and down. You can blow it up. Okay? So on and so forth. I'm going to Command Z all that. So I'm going to give you 5 minutes to go practice with this. Here is the next part. We are going to learn how to make the lower third enter. Okay? So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go into keyframing. I'm going to take my name and put it on the outside, meaning like outside of the frame. Okay? I'm going to go into, I'm going to drag this a little bit over here, click and drag right here. And I'm going to make this a little bit smaller right here by dragging that because this is where it's important to see all your keyframes. So I'm going to want to start right here by clicking this button for the position. This will toggle your animation on, meaning like it'll start a keyframe. You'll see on the right side it'll pop up when you click. Okay? When you click it again, it'll remove all keyframes. Look, it's going to ask me, you want to remove all the keyframes? I don't want to remove all the keyframes. I'll click cancel. Okay? So if you ever want to remove any keyframe because you're like, oh, I messed up, I want to start all over, just click that. It'll remove all your keyframes for position. And then you want to remove all the keyframes for scale, you got to do scale, so on and so forth for every single feature that has this like stopwatch looking thing. Okay? And then I am going to drag my playhead to about like right here. In 2 seconds, I want it to finish. And I click, you don't click on the position clock stopwatch thing again. You actually click on this part right here, this little diamond. It says add remove keyframe. When you click on that, you will make a new keyframe exactly where the playhead is located, which is right there. Okay? So that's how you add or remove keyframe. But if you want to remove everything, all the keyframe, you click that. Okay? So what I'm going to do now is my start position is going to be, and if you want to, it's going to be off the frame. So I'm going to click this, will go back to the previous keyframe, and this will go back to the, go forward into the other keyframe, the next keyframe. Because why do we have that? Because if you kind of eyeball it, and you think, like you kind of think you're on the keyframe, but you're not. Does that make sense? Okay? You want to be precisely on the keyframe, you use these things. And then I am going to go back to my beginning keyframe because this is where I want the name to end. Right here, I want to stop right there. I'm going to go back to the start keyframe and I'm going to drag my name. See it being gone? Okay? And then when I play the video, let me zoom out. When I play the video, hi, my name is Mr. Hang, and I am a teacher. You see my name moving in, right? Okay? You can do the same thing with, I'm going to delete that. I'm going to highlight and delete these keyframes. Okay? I can do the same thing with the graphics, meaning like my blue name thing here. So I actually want to end it right there. Okay? And then I am going to use that as my end position. So I'm going to start. And I go back here. And I put a new keyframe, that's my start position, and I just drag this off. And when I play this back, hi, my name is Mr. Hang, and I am a, bam, I have that right there. Okay? Now, the next thing I could do is I can make my name appear and then slide upward. So I'm going to use a keyframe for when my blue bar stops, my name will appear and then slides upward, or comes from the top really fast, or spin in, whatever, okay? It's your creativity. I'm going to go to my name layer, and then I'm going to make a keyframe right there, drag it to about like 4 seconds. I'm going to end right here. So I'm going to go back and just edit that part right there to make it slide from the bottom here upward. So watch, when I play it back, I am a teacher and I plan to be, okay, cool. So now I also want to change the effects, and I'm jumping back and forth between keyframes of opacity. So I'm going to make a new opacity keyframe right there, and then I'm going to jump back and I'm going to make a opacity keyframe right here. So I'm going to start with 0 opacity, and then it's going to go to 100 opacity. So I'll change this to 0, click enter, and my name disappears. But watch what happens as I drag the playhead. It's appearing and sliding up at the same time. Does that make sense? Every single one of these effects that you can use keyframes, you can do that with. So let's say I wanted to appear earlier and then start sliding. Okay, watch. And I am a teacher, and then it starts sliding. And I plan. See how I highlight these and I just move them around? See what I'm saying? You can highlight and then delete them as well. Okay? So your job right now is, I'm going to Command Z. Your job right now is to make your name and your box or your circle enter. Okay? Go ahead, 5 minutes. Okay, so the last thing you have to do is you have to make your lower third disappear or move out of the way or just exit somehow. Okay? I have my lower third entering. Make sure your shape layer and your text layer are doing something, not just the name move or the shape move. Okay? They both have to do something to get full credit. And then at the end, I'll just drag it to the end right here. I'm going to make a keyframe for my name. Go to the end. You have to come back 1 frame. Make sure you press left 1 frame and then make a new keyframe right there. Okay? It is very frustrating when you're like, I know I have a keyframe at the end, but I can't see it. You have to come back 1 frame so that you can actually see your keyframe. Okay? And then I'm going to move myself or move my name out like this. Okay? And then I'm going to go to my graphics layer, which is my shape layer. I'm going to make a keyframe exactly where I have my end keyframe. I'm going to jump back 1, and then I'm going to go click on my graphics layer and then make a keyframe right there. Now the keyframes are exactly the same. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to move my blue. Oh wait, I don't want to move my blue yet. I want to move my blue at the end keyframe, the last keyframe. Move my blue bar out of the way like this, so when I play it back, my students this semester, they both exit together. It's not perfect, I can still finesse it. But I just wanted you to show me that you're not in the middle. You have your lower third coming in, and then you have your lower third disappearing or move out of the way or whatever, or fly out of the way or spin out of the way. Up to you, okay? Make sure you export and then turn that in.